one incident after another, have I said Trump is coming.
The NBA is on edge as reports suggest multiple players are being dragged into a growing gambling probe, and Stephen A. Smith is calling them out publicly. Quiet bets, leaked intel, and potential suspensions could shake the league's image. In this video, I'll break down who's involved, why Smith spoke up, and what's coming next. Players under fire, who's in the crosshairs. The list of accused is long and growing. Among the most high-profile names, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups. Rozier, a guard, is charged with sharing non-public information about his game plan and injury status in order to facilitate large bets placed by associates. Billups, a head coach, is indicted in connection with mafia-linked poker rings and alleged insider tips. Federal filing state organizers use tip-offs to prop bets in inside markets.
From the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today. I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we've seen that.
Stephen A. Smith didn't hesitate to call out not just the stars, but the system. Smith turned up the heat by warning that the list of names may be just the beginning. He referenced the banned lifetime case of Jontay Porter, his past tweak of team performance, and suggested other players should be looking over their shoulder. For the players under scrutiny, the stakes couldn't be higher. Legal exposure, lifetime bans under league rules, contract voids, and destroyed reputations all loom. Smith's message was clear. Understating the impact won't save you. As more names emerge, the NBA faces a tremor in its roster, not just in numbers, but in trust. The question now, when will the next wave crash down, and will those involved have prepared for what's coming? The accusation, gambling, betrayal, and the NBA. When the first indictments were unsealed, the scope of betrayal stunned even seasoned analysts. What began as whispers of unusual betting patterns spiraled into a full-blown federal probe uncovering one of the most elaborate sports betting networks in U.S. history. The FBI traced money flowing through encrypted accounts, overseas sports books, and fake charities, all allegedly connected to players and insiders who exploited access to locker room secrets.
Before, we've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before. You don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident.
Stephen A. Smith, known for his fiery commentary, didn't hold back. His outrage echoed the sentiments of countless fans who now question whether the competition they've cheered for was ever truly fair. Federal filings indicate that some players placed bets through intermediaries using privileged data, injury updates, trade rumors, and even confidential scrimmage results to manipulate betting lines. Others allegedly coordinated with criminal networks to fix outcomes of low-profile games or prop bets involving personal performance metrics. Investigators believe this web of corruption stretches beyond the NBA, possibly touching minor leagues, offshore sports books, and international fixers. Smith also aimed his criticism at the league office, accusing executives of complacency. His comments stirred controversy, but they tapped into a growing unease about the league's close relationship with gambling sponsors. As public trust erodes, the league faces its greatest test since the 2007 Tim Donaghy referee scandal. But this time, the rot runs deeper. The betrayal isn't confined to referees or executives, it's players, role models, and heroes of the court. And so the question remains, if the foundation of the NBA was built on competition and honor, how does it rebuild when those very principles have been sold to the highest bidder? Stephen A.'s fury. The league can't stay silent anymore. When Stephen A. Smith unleashed his fury on live television, the tone shifted from disbelief to outright condemnation. His voice cut through the studio like a blade, raw, unfiltered, and aimed directly at the league's leadership.
And it's a warning that more is coming. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets.
Smith accused the NBA of failing to act early, calling out Commissioner Adam Silver for what he described as PR management disguised as integrity. He pointed to how long whispers of suspicious betting had circulated, how team insiders and analytics staff had reportedly flagged odd betting patterns months before arrests began, yet no substantial measures were taken. His anger reflected a deeper frustration shared across the sports world. Smith reminded viewers of the Donaghy referee scandal, arguing that the league had sworn it would never let gambling corrupt the sport again. Behind the scenes, sources told ESPN that league executives were scrambling to contain the fallout, reviewing all betting partnerships and player monitoring protocols. But to Smith, these efforts were too little, too late. By the time the segment ended, social media was ablaze. Hashtags like and dominated trending lists. But as outrage spread, so did the unease. If Stephen A. was right, the silence from the league wasn't just caution, it was complicity. The fallout, how the NBA's image crumbled overnight. The morning after the scandal broke, the NBA woke up to a crisis that felt more like a collapse than a controversy. Headlines screamed betrayal, social media turned hostile, and sports networks around the globe dissected every detail. Fans weren't just angry, they were heartbroken. For decades, the NBA had been a symbol of excellence, discipline, and global unity. But now, that image had been shattered overnight.
It's not a surprise. It's very disheartening. It's very concerning. We don't know where this is going to go. But this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Sponsors began pulling statements. One major sports apparel company quietly suspended its multi-million-dollar endorsement deals with several implicated players. Betting partners, fearing public backlash, froze their campaigns pending integrity assessments. Even television networks demanded emergency briefings, worried about the credibility of their broadcasts. ESPN, Fox Sports, and CBS all led with one unrelenting headline: "Trust in the game is dead." Stephen A. Smith's words seem prophetic. Days earlier, he warned that the NBA was playing with fire by getting too close to the gambling industry. He accused league officials of prioritizing profits over protection, where he warned that the fans and the bookies can't be served at the same table. Meanwhile, the NBA's leadership scrambled into damage control. Commissioner Adam Silver promised full cooperation with federal investigators and announced the suspension of betting-related partnerships until further review. But the promises felt hollow. For many, it was déjà vu, the same tone, the same words. But this time, the stakes were existential. As journalists dug deeper, the scandal's reach widened. From rookie contracts to veteran stars, no layer of the league was untouched. Public trust evaporated in real time, replaced by a creeping realization: the NBA wasn't the victim of a few bad actors. It was the stage where greed, secrecy, and arrogance had been performing all along. Inside the empire, how the 1B scheme operated in plain sight behind the flashing lights and highlight reels, a billion-dollar empire of deceit was thriving, hidden in plain sight. Federal investigators uncovered a sprawling network that stretched from Las Vegas sportsbooks to offshore betting syndicates in Europe and Asia. Players, staffers, and even intermediaries disguised as consultants were allegedly feeding confidential game data to organized betting groups. The operation ran like a corporation, complete with recruiters, digital analysts, and payment coordinators who handled money through crypto wallets and shell accounts.
The FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, arrested 31 people, including 2 NBA figures and members of 4 mafia families, in a bombshell gambling bust.
According to leaked FBI affidavits, the scheme began as small insider wagers, minor prop bets placed on players' rebounds, assists, or turnovers. But it evolved quickly. When a handful of participants realized how much they could win using non-public information, they expanded into large-scale manipulation. In some cases, injury updates were deliberately delayed, so insiders could place last-minute bets before the odds shifted. Stephen A. Smith dissected this on First Take, calling it a betrayal hiding in statistics. He pointed out how the modern NBA's obsession with data, minute-by-minute performance metrics, player fatigue readings, and real-time analytics became the very weapon used to corrupt the game. They turned analytics into ammunition, he said, and used it to shoot the integrity of basketball in the heart. The deeper investigators dug, the clearer it became that the fraud wasn't sloppy, it was strategic. Some insiders used coded messages in social media DMs and encrypted apps to communicate betting instructions. The payouts, often disguised as NFT transfers, marketing retainers, or overseas investments. For years, this empire thrived undetected, protected by the league's trust in its players and the public's blind faith in the game. But when the curtain finally fell, the illusion collapsed with it, revealing a system that had learned to cheat not from the outside, but from within. The media eruption, Stephen A. versus the NBA machine. The morning after the scandal reached mainstream news, sports media turned into a battlefield, and at its center stood Stephen A. Smith. While most analysts treaded carefully, Stephen A. went on national television and detonated that the scandal was bigger than just a gambling ring, with a fury that wasn't rehearsed but was raw, personal, and relentless.
But to have this, bro, this goes back to the mafia. This goes back to sports.
What clip do you have? What clip do you have of the way they were doing the gambling thing?
And
Rob, do you have that?
Pat, this is a POV through the glasses of how, because Chauncey and all these guys are accused of cheating in poker. These are the glasses.
$7 million.
Major outlets scrambled to respond. ESPN and Fox Sports ran emergency specials, while The Athletic and Bleacher Report began releasing leaked documents in real time. But as the coverage intensified, a divide emerged, those demanding full transparency and those accusing Smith of sensationalizing the story. Some insiders claimed his passionate outbursts were hurting the league's stability. Smith, unshaken, fired back and made it known that the league's stability was hurt. The second players decided the score wasn't enough and they wanted the spread too. That clip went viral. Within hours, it amassed millions of views across X, YouTube, and TikTok. Fans flooded comment sections, rallying behind Smith's defiance. Some fans even mentioned that Smith was saying what the NBA won't. But the pushback was immediate. League officials reportedly reached out privately, urging Smith to cool the rhetoric. But as you might have guessed, he refused, claiming during a follow-up broadcast that the truth can't be silenced when it's on camera. Meanwhile, former players joined the debate. Kendrick Perkins sided with Smith, calling the scandal a self-inflicted wound, while others argued that the media frenzy could destroy innocent reputations before due process. Still, Smith stood his ground, insisting the public had a right to know every name, every number, every detail. In the storm of coverage and controversy, one thing became clear. Stephen A. wasn't just reporting the news anymore. He had become part of it. The federal crackdown, how the FBI cornered the players behind the media frenzy, the real battle was being fought in courtrooms and federal offices. The FBI, working in tandem with the U.S. Attorney's Office, had quietly assembled a case that shocked even veteran agents. Over 30 NBA players, coaches, and insiders were implicated in a sprawling gambling network exceeding $1 billion in wagers. From high-stakes poker rings to manipulated prop bets, the federal probe revealed a labyrinthine web of corruption.
According to the director of the FBI himself, the conspiracy spanned years, netted tens of millions of dollars in illegal profits, and involved the 4 major New York crime families.
Stephen A. Smith didn't mince words on First Take. He detonated that the scandals weren't mistakes, but they were crimes. He went further to note that every tip, every secret shared, and every bet placed with insider knowledge is a betrayal of the game. His outrage mirrored the seriousness of the indictments, which included conspiracy, wire fraud, and money laundering charges. Sources told investigators that some players coordinated with organized crime, using coded communications, offshore accounts, and encrypted apps to funnel information. Federal filings describe sophisticated methods, injury reports withheld until last minute, rotation plans exploited to predict player minutes, and prop bets structured to maximize payout while minimizing scrutiny. In some cases, intermediaries disguised as advisors helped launder winnings through legitimate channels. For the league, the crackdown sent shockwaves. Commissioner Adam Silver emphasized that the NBA would fully cooperate with authorities, but Smith criticized the league's prior inaction, declaring that if the game can be exploited the way it was, then they can't claim to protect the game. The crackdown also raised questions about how betting partnerships with sportsbooks may have created blind spots. Could the very systems designed to monitor wagers have been manipulated? According to federal agents, the answer is yes, and that oversight failure allowed the scheme to thrive for years. The arrests and indictments marked just the beginning. As Smith warned, more names may surface, and the consequences for the league, the players, and the integrity of basketball could be unprecedented. Rebuilding trust, fans, sponsors, and the future of the NBA. The fallout from the scandal wasn't just legal, it was cultural. Fans, sponsors, and media outlets questioned whether the NBA they loved could survive this breach of trust. Social media was ablaze with outrage. Hashtags liked and trended worldwide as viewers debated whether the players, the league, or both were to blame.
And right now, here's a statement from the NBA. We are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments announced today. Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. We take these
sponsors quickly reassessed contracts. A major apparel company suspended partnerships with several implicated players, while sportsbooks paused promotional campaigns linked to the league. Even broadcast networks reconsidered how they would present games, concerned that the integrity of live match coverage had been compromised. The financial stakes were enormous. Millions in advertising and sponsorship revenue hung in the balance. Stephen A. Smith, however, remained unsparing in his critique, going as far as noting that fans didn't just lose games, they lost faith, which is harder to recover than any salary or endorsement. He also criticized the league's history of delayed responses, calling for proactive reforms, independent monitoring of betting patterns, stricter penalties penalties, and full transparency in player conduct. League leadership, facing mounting pressure, promised reform. Commissioner Adam Silver vowed to review all gambling policies, enhance monitoring systems, and increase education for players regarding betting risks. But for fans and observers, these words rang cautiously optimistic at best. Smith warned that real change would require visible action. Policies aren't enough. There must be accountability that fans can see. For the NBA, rebuilding trust isn't optional, it's existential. The scandal has exposed vulnerabilities in governance, transparency, and culture. If the league succeeds in reform, it may emerge stronger. If not, the damage to its reputation could linger for years. As the NBA confronts its future, the question remains, can a league built on competition and celebrity recover from a crisis born from betrayal at its highest levels? The Reckoning. Stephen A., Justice, and the road ahead. The NBA now faces a reckoning unlike anything in its history. With over 30 players banned, federal indictments unsealed, and a billion-dollar gambling network exposed, the league must confront both legal consequences and a profound loss of credibility. Stephen A. Smith has become the voice of accountability, calling for transparency, justice, and systemic reform. On First Take, he declared that if the game is truly loved and the fans are respected, then action must be taken. Anything less is a betrayal. The legal fallout is staggering. Prosecutors have charged players with conspiracy, wire fraud, and money laundering, while organized crime figures allegedly helped orchestrate betting schemes. Investigators revealed sophisticated methods, encrypted messages, offshore accounts, insider injury reports, and prop bets structured to maximize illicit gain. This wasn't opportunistic gambling. It was a coordinated assault on the integrity of the sport. Smith repeatedly emphasized that the stakes are existential and aren't just contracts or fines at risk, but the soul of the NBA. Commissioner Adam Silver and league executives have promised reforms. Memorandums have been sent to all teams, calling for better monitoring, stricter reporting of injuries, and player education on gambling risks. Betting partnerships are under review, and independent audits are being discussed. But as Smith warned, words alone aren't enough. Accountability must be visible and uncompromising. Fans demand more than promises. They want action and transparency. The public reaction is intense. Sponsors are scrutinizing deals, media coverage is relentless, and social media remains a magnifying glass for outrage. Stephen A. has insisted that this scandal isn't just about individual players. It's about a culture that allowed gambling to infiltrate the game. He has challenged the league to demonstrate that fairness is more than a slogan, that integrity is more than a rule book. Looking ahead, the NBA faces a critical question. Can it rebuild trust while ensuring that such violations never recur? For the players, it's a moment of reckoning. For the league, it's a test of leadership, governance, and moral authority. For fans, it's a reminder that even beloved institutions are vulnerable to corruption. The road forward is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The scandal has redefined the NBA, and Stephen A. Smith's voice will echo as both a warning and a challenge for every decision the league makes in the months to come. The NBA gambling scandal has shaken the league to its core, leaving bans, indictments, and public outrage in its wake. Stephen A. Smith's relentless critique has highlighted the urgent need for transparency and reform. Fans, sponsors, and players alike now watch closely as the NBA confronts its biggest test in decades.